You're listening to the Incomparables Total Party Kill podcast, in which a group of friends play Dungeons & Dragons on the internet for your amusement. This is episode number 460, wrapping up a long-running adventure. Recorded April 2024, posted July 2024. Curse of Strahd, Epilogue.
Welcome back to Total Party Kill. It's me, Tony Sindelar, a Dungeon Master. I use he, him pronouns, and today we are doing something very unique, very special, very unusual for us, finishing something we started. Welcome to the Epilogue for Curse of Strahd. I guess I will introduce our players, and they will remind you of who their characters are, in case somehow you have forgotten this information that should have been drilled into you about 74 times before. First up, it's Jane Ritt.
Hello, I play Lena Dulina, the human rogue. We both use she, her pronouns.
Also joining us, Dan Morin.
Hello, I play Caster Onotar's Crucible, a Warforged cleric of the god Onotar who uses they, them pronouns. I use he, him pronouns.
Next up, Aline Sims.
Oh my gosh, I play Imra Soliana, the Wood Elf Ranger, and also Androdite. We all use she, her pronouns.
Also joining us, Erica Ensign.
Hello, Erica Ensign, she, her, playing Brildish, the Dwarven Paladin, also she, her. And as soon as Brildish gets a long rest, also Pony Cindelarnt, Brildish's special celestial pony companion steed.
Oh, you think he'll return from the Feywild?
Celestial plane.
Are you saying that he can't go to the Feywild? Is that what you're saying?
Didn't you know Pony hates the Feywild?
I didn't. That's not the question I asked. All right, this is really dragging out Erica's introduction. We don't have time for that because also joining us, it's Micah Sargent. Hi, Micah.
Hello, Tony. I play Elevor Landman, the half-elf druid. He and I use he, him pronouns, as well as Samus, the saber-toothed tiger, she, her, and Danu, the fey mimic octopus who occasionally makes an appearance. Danu prefers that you refer to Danu as Danu at all Danu times.
All right. Well, what previously happened on Total Party Kill, Dog and Pony Show,
Do you have 74
Curse of
episodes?
Strahd? There were 74 episodes, and at the end of the last one, guess what? They did it.
They killed Strahd.
The guy on the cover of the book, he's dead.
Well, he was dead to
We're
begin with.
on the cover of the book now.
Yeah, this is our book.
Yeah.
Get out of this book.
Yeah.
You don't go here.
They did it. In the immediate moments after Crucible has impaled Strahd with your holy weapon, Strahd basically disintegrated into embers. There is a dramatic slow clap from the corner behind you, Crucible. And,
why are you clapping so slowly?
A familiar figure casts off her cloak of invisibility, revealing that she's been here watching over you all the time. It is Esmeralda Davenier.
Are you
I think I
kidding
like her
me?
a lot less.
Watching
apprentice
over us?
to Rictavio, and she just says, "Well done. Obviously, I was here to finish it. If you were incapable, or even if you were successful and any of you had been turned, I would have taken care of that as well. But," and she kind of looks at all of your necks curiously, "does not seem to be necessary."
Brildish turns and says, "That's incredibly rude, and I don't like you anymore."
Oh well, and she does a furl of cape, and she's invisible and gone once again.
Wow.
Brildish turns back around to her friends and says, "Good. Now where were we?"
That was very odd.
We continue to celebrate.
The energy in the crypt is very different. There is no sign of Strahd's vampire brides. The bats seem to have returned to their slumber. The hellhounds seem to have crept off somewhere. And, you're still in the sub-basement of a vampire lord's dark, spooky, castle. I mean, this place needs like 10 dehumidifiers. But things are a little bit better. I think probably there's not any reason to hang around here anymore?
Yeah, I assume that
Yeah.
Imra and Lena, who were in the sub basement,
Yeah.
sort of scramble up, climb out of the crypt, and are like, "What? It's over?"
What do we miss?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lena, Emmer, you're okay.
Lena gives her a hug.
Aw.
She's so happy that Strahd is dead and that her friends are all right.
Are not
Brillish
dead.
picks Lena up and like spins her around a couple of times.
She like
Which
kind of
is-
shoves like puts her hand on your face and like shoves you away. But
It's a sort of awkward too, because I don't know how tall Lena is, but Brildish is only 5 feet tall. So
Lena is taller than that. Did Strahd leave any sort of like signet ring or any sort of proof
Or like
that
a
he is
will?
dead?
Do we own this castle now?
Yeah, we need his
Do we have to
password
do-
still.
Do we
Guys,
have to
it's-
take care of it? Are we on the hook for all the
Who's
property
the
Ah,
executor?
taxes?
Yeah, like
The true curse of Strahd, estate taxes. Ooh. Yeah. There does not seem to be any sign of his death.
I guess they'll have to take our word for it.
Yeah.
I think
Great.
things will improve, and that will perhaps be evidence enough.
Can we not do like a
Indeed.
general vibe check?
The vibes.
The
Immaculate.
vibes feel
Immaculate.
immaculate here,
we're
but
getting
is it,
towards immaculate.
is it like a weight lifted, a light change?
Yeah, I think
the skies have
I
parted.
think especially Lena Delina as a citizen of Barovia, born and bred, you feel like this weird, creepy kind of happy, bubbly thing inside of you that is completely foreign. The rest of you recognize it as kind of like the taste of drinking root beer, but to Lena it is alien and fearsome. It's hope.
Ooh.
She's sort of like, she's like slapping away Goosebump. She's very unsettled.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think Elevor is kind of in the corner using destroy water spells to make this place dehumidified. Suddenly
It's gonna
drier
take
in here.
a long time.
I'm ready to get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah.
Yes.
Let us leave
Imra's
this
no
right.
more creepy castle.
All right.
Let's
What about the
tromp outta
guy that
here.
was chained to the desk, though? Remember the tax guy?
I believe his name is Henrik. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gave him a file. He can get out.
Oh, that's right. But now we
Yeah.
can make it faster.
There are various people
He did not earn
whose
that.
lives we improved, and people who we were sort of like, this is on you now.
Oh, I guess it's more of
But-
because you can teach a man to file, and he'll file away his chains. But if you file the chains for him, then he will never go to water to drink like a
And
horse.
a creepy murder
Yeah.
puppet who we left in the woods, I think.
Oh, I
think
apologize.
We just
Before
flung him into the
before
woods.
someone writes in, Henrik was the creepy coffin maker, not the creepy Strahd accountant.
So
I've
hard to
forgotten
tell
the names
sometimes.
of these creepy accountant right now.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
there's anybody left in
Furiously
the castle
flipping through my book.
that we knew about that we needed to go check on because we liberated the tween. We tried to liberate the guy in the file room and he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So
out.
at-
I'm going. I'm out.
So,
Yeah.
So, Imra, you have like your abilities to like sense undead and sort of read situations. Does it seem like there are still like creatures of the night? Was their power somehow tied to his? Do we need to,
Crypt
at
to
some
crypt,
point in the
stab,
future
stab.
come back and
Sweep up?
sweep up? Yeah.
Where is
I mean, I have my power that I can pop off, but it only works if things are not behind total cover, so it's not going to be helpful here unless we open up every crypt and I just run around really fast. But I don't have
I-
a pony to run around on anymore, so
That's true.
can recall information.
That's all right. I guess it's almost more of a question for Tony. Like, as we are, making our way out of the castle, does it seem like Is it just that the vibe has changed, or are things related to his power no longer happening?
You know, much in addition to, of course, being a vampire, Strahd was a powerful magic user, and many of the kind of creatures of the night that inhabited the castle and Barovia proper were kind of like enthralled to his will, and it's almost like without his presence, without the spells that he was actively maintaining through his existence, like all of that is kind of like fading away rapidly.
Question.
You're still in a gloomy, sad basement where many people have died,
Right.
but it is not the same as
Is it-
Okay,
is it-
thank you.
minutes ago.
Is there like a Back to the Future vibe thing? Like if we pull out the coins with Strahd's face on them, or do they have somebody else's face?
Dan, I want to be extremely clear here that you have not time traveled in this episode. I am
But have we?
concerned that you're asking this question. It seems like Michael Hing energy, and I will not stand for it.
In my mind, all of the coins now have a picture of Crucible on them because it was some sort of...
if anyone was going to melt the coins down and recast them, Crucible would certainly be high on the list of people I would, accuse
And maybe
of
that's
that.
maybe that's
That may
one
be-
of the things as we do our like tour of Barovia.
Yes.
Crucible checks in at the mint and says, "Here's a quicker way to remint all your coins," and then they just
By putting
decide
my
to use
face
Crucible's
on them.
face. No, Crucible would never say that, but
No.
somebody else who worked there might.
Mm.
This does raise a second question, though, Tony. I'll ask you a logistical question. It's fine. Don't worry. It's
My
not about
fa-
time travel.
Is it
probably.
about time travel? If it's about time travel, you have to tell me.
Probably not about time travel, unless you count time going forward at a normal pace. By killing Strahd, do we reach level 10?
That is a
need
good
to take
question.
a long rest, but yeah, you're
Okay.
level 10. Is that what you want to hear?
Woo!
This
It is what I want to
tune
hear.
in
Thank
for.
you.
All right.
It does have relevance to a thing that may happen later. So thank you.
All right, and so you make your way back up through the halls of Ravenloft. Let us assume that you take as much furniture and freshest things that are not nailed down as you can with you. You do remember that there is a vault somewhere in Ravenloft that you access but didn't get all the way in. And
Yeah, Elivor
perhaps
mentioned
you'll-
that a minute ago.
you'll subcontract to some aspiring adventurers to to go up and do that, and you'll get a portion of their finder's fees.
We never did get the password.
Nope, you did not. Yeah. Strahd's last words were not
Crucible
his
should have
password.
asked. Yeah.
Oops.
It was.
It wasn't
Arena
carved on the inside of the.
475.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could we see the inside
It
of
is
the
my
coffin? Maybe.
birthday.
Just
Oh,
check.
did I mention among the embers of the deceased vampire is a sticky note?
Post-it
on
note.
his scroll.
I knew it.
Gotta keep it somewhere.
Yeah, like I feel like as part of the Barovian public works renaissance, there's probably going to be teams of perhaps lower level adventurers just scouring.
Yeah,
the
maybe we should let
castle.
them. Yeah, they
Yep.
could stand
There's
to
enough
have
traps
whatever's in
that
there.
they, we don't want to
Yeah.
just send the general public wandering through.
No,
Right.
it's not quite ready to be turned into a museum. You guys literally killed the big bad.
I was
8
thinking of bed
minutes
and
ago.
breakfast.
Oh.
Or, fancy hotel.
Mm. It's still very haunted. So
That's why we're sending adventurers
I mean,
in to clear it out.
it's also
People
the
like that,
location is
though.
not great.
Are you kidding?
I
The
guess
view is amazing.
the
It is.
view
You
of
guys
Little
get fancy.
Barovia is pretty good. Assuming the mists have departed and that people can come to Barovia, it's still a questionable tourist destination, but I guess the worse ideas have been implemented.
It was some
Uh,
place
You know-
that people couldn't go to, and now they can go there. That makes it a status symbol, and that means tourism.
Also, just
Oh,
a
yeah.
castle.
Yeah, like the first order of business is establishing the tourism board so that they can figure all this out.
Yeah, actually, several weeks pass, and it's basically like the whole of Barovia is taken over by water-deep entrepreneurs who are working
Oh, no, it's
remotely.
worse.
They're scrying into
No.
their jobs.
Yeah, is that
no.
fog? Maybe you said that, but is that fog or mist or whatever on the edges of the thing gone now? Like,
Yeah,
can
let's
people leave?
let's exit the castle. What do we see? Can we
As
see
you
down
make
to
your
little
way out of the
Barovia?
castle, pausing on the ramparts of Ravenloft, you can see now further, the dawn is breaking, and like usually when dawn breaks in Barovia, it's just like the gray sky gets a little bit brighter, but the sun is actually kind of peeking through the clouds. You can see the fog that's just everywhere, kind of creeping back into the woods a little bit, and things actually feel like warm, like in a good way, in a way that usually in Barovia somebody has to set you on fire to get.
Good lord.
Mm-hmm. You have a lovely view in the distance of that windmill where Crucible opened a bag he shouldn't have.
We're not looking in that direction. We are looking at
Well,
Little
it's
Barovia.
right that way. Oh, well, okay. You also have a lovely view to Little Barovia, perched beneath the cliffs on which Castle Ravenloft
Can
is
I
built.
see the animatronic sign of Blinsky waving?
In Valaki? I don't.
Yeah.
I think
Little
for zoning
far.
reasons, he's not allowed to build up that high.
Dang it.
I'm just
we
watching Lena, I think is my thing.
Yes, yeah, same.
Okay.
Lena looks so like she's walking like a cat with tape stuck to her feet.
Oh no.
This is very strange for her, and she just sort of looks up and sighs and says, "It is done."
Argal tries to high five all of you.
Awkwardly.
Including-
more high fives
including
than
Pony.
for sure.
And then he says, like, so is anyone gonna go into the vault? Because I'll go take care of that if you need.
Have at.
Have at it, yeah. Go
Yeah,
for it.
Argal-
Wait.
Absolutely.
Do you
Wait,
know
is-
the password, Aragal?
I'll figure it out. And Argal
Wait.
is never
Elvor
seen-
says, wait. Is there
Oh.
anyone you care about who, in the event
You
that
guys.
the vault kills you, we should tell that you're gone?
Yeah. Tell Pony.
Okay.
Didn't he have like a brother or family in the
Yeah,
caravan?
they were.
He
They
did,
were.
yeah.
They were on.
They
Yeah,
weren't great.
No,
They did not have the best
Brildish
relationship.
says solemnly, "I will."
Yeah. Yes, Argal's older brother was kind of in charge of the Vistani encampment outside Valaki. But,
Maybe
not
their
the best
relationship has changed now that Strahd is dead. You
It'll-
never know. Maybe it's time
Yeah.
to make amends.
Argal says, "It'll change a lot if I'm rich."
Such a bro.
This is not the Aragal I remember.
Well,
I love
there's
this
one-
guy.
Everything
remember.
has changed.
sometimes Jane voices Argal, sometimes I do. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Argal
a
belongs.
complex man.
He
Dr.
belongs to all of
Jekyll.
us.
And no one
Yeah.
understands him. No, that's it. No one understands.
That's just
the
it.
end of the
Yep,
sentence.
that's
That's so true.
I think we should go visit Little Barovia. I'm still really interested to see if Gertruda actually made it home after we had her climb down the wall. Everybody.
Yeah.
Brildish
Yeah.
is very concerned about this tween.
Also, even though the great sorrow of Barovia being Strahd has been defeated, all of the burgermeisters are terrible, and if they sense there is a power vacuum, they will attempt to fill it, and it will be very annoying. So we need to go and lay down the law.
I
Sweet.
will turn that burgermeister into a double patty. Let's do this.
I don't understand that joke, says Brildish, but I appreciate it.
So back where Elivor
There-
comes from, there's two people named Patty, and if you put them together,
Back in the mountains.
All right, so off to Little Barovia.
All
Yes.
right, it's a most of the day's hike from Ravenloft down the mountains. You pass by there's a little campsite that was next to kind of a pool fed by a waterfall.
Oh, where Madame
where you-
Eva told us our card.
You met
readings.
Madame
Yeah.
Eva there so long ago. And there's fresh wagon wheel marks in the mud, but no sign of Madame Eva herself.
Which direction did they head off into?
Looks like they head east, so in the direction of Little Barovia.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Well,
that's where we're going.
How handy.
Yep.
All right.
And you head in that direction as well, arriving at Little Barovia. Little Barovia, of course, basically the smallest of the three settlements, human settlements in Barovia. It's just basically kind of a small gathering of houses. Not much of a commercial footprint here. Unlike Valaki, it is not walled, and you just kind of wander into town. People are, it looks like, kind of starting to kind of, turn down for their various things in the evening as you're arriving in late afternoon. But people seem surprisingly in good spirits as you make your way into town.
Brildish is going to ask like the first several people she meets until somebody will tell her. Could you please point us to Mary and Gertruda's house?
The first person doesn't know what you're talking about, but the second person points you to a house kind of is down the street from the burgermeister's mansion, which at this point is kind of boarded up and looks empty, but it's somewhat near the Blood of the Vine Tavern, the only kind of business open to the public in Little Barovia.
Did they realize they were making a vampire pun at the time, do you think?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but did they also have a steady supply of wine coming in now due to our supply chain
yes,
logistics?
Your supply chain machinations. As you wonder if wine has reached Little Barovia, a drunken farmer wanders out of the tavern, salutes all of you, and drunkenly stumbles off into the late afternoon.
As it should be.
Job well done.
Yeah.
Well, nailed it.
He smells of cheap wine, the only wine available in Barovia so far.
So far.
So far.
Progress.
Yep. So Brildish will just go up and knock on the door of the house that she is
all right.
toward.
It's a small kind of townhouse wedged between some other larger structures, and a kind of middle-aged woman dressed in kind of drab things. She looks like she's had perhaps a rough life. She comes to the door and opens it and says, "Yes, can I help you?"
Are you Gertruda's mom?
I am. Do you know my daughter?
Is she here? Brildish is so scared.
Mary holds open the door, showing there's not much of a house behind her, and Gertruda is there, sitting at a little table, drinking some tea.
Is she
not
wearing
sitting upside down on the ceiling?
Not sitting
with
upside
her
down on the flooring.
climb slippers.
Gertruda looks at all of you, kind of young teen woman with kind of wide eyes, and says, "Mother, these are the adventures I told you about. See, they didn't die."
Hi, Brildish waves. Just wanted to make sure you're okay.
And her mother, Mary, says, "Oh, thank you so much. I don't have any money, if that's what you're asking about."
No. Here, you take some money. And Brildish just takes out a handful of random coins and puts them in her hand. Here, take care of Gertruda.
You gotta spend your Strahd bucks before you leave Barovia, because exchanging them later is like a whole thing. So can't take him with you. I mean, you can. It's just
she's been through some stuff. Please, just take good care of her. We just wanted to check.
You're too kind.
Oh yeah, and Strahd's dead, by the way. Spread the word.
Strahd's dead?
Yes, we killed him.
The devil himself, you say?
Yes, we have slain him.
You can say his name now.
We all did. We were all there when it happened.
Yes,
it
we
was
can all
very
confirm.
Definitely, yeah.
All of us are confirming.
Didn't have a
yes.
corpse we could wheel around with us.
I know.
Yeah. If he didn't disintegrate, Lena was totally going to cut off his head and carry it around.
That great effigy that you guys destroyed up on that hill so far back.
Elevor does have a little pouch.
Don't you wish you had an effigy now?
An ash pouch that he has in his thing, and says, "This is kind of all that's left."
Mad Mary she's not Mad Mary anymore. She's just Mary now. She's Content Mary. Kind of
Mary
looks up at the sky as if expecting a bolt of lightning to hit you, having said those words, and sees that it's still kind of it's partially cloudy. It's still Barovia. There's no blue skies, but there is some sunlight getting through, and she just kind of shrugs and says, "That must have been it."
Gertruda, we need everyone in Barovia to know this, and I call upon you to activate the fastest communication method, teens.
Gertruda says, "I'm on it," and she immediately slips out the back window of the house.
Oh, that's the best.
Several beats later, you hear cheering from down the street at the Blood of the Vine Tavern.
Nice. So what time of day is it? I'm just out of character. I'm just wondering.
Late afternoon. Let's say that you can ask me what time does that mean. Let's say that it's 4:30 p.m.
I'm just wondering if we're going to need to spend the night in little Barovia before we head off to wherever is geographically most sensible to go next.
I did not think that there would be that much logistics in this episode, Erica. But sure, that you have to spend the night.
You're right. I can't get out of that mindset.
Time.
Like this
is why are you broken?
Montage.
Is it my fault that you're broke?
I think we should try and make it to Vallaki so that we can stay in the inn.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
We can camp overnight if we need to.
It is very funny to me though that the wailing woman side quest that was the first one we encountered
ignored
and like
ignored
we are not doing this. We are not doing it. They were the first ones that we told that we had cleared the main quest log.
Because clearing the main quest log in the way that we did it also solved that one. We were just efficient.
Yeah, so if you look back in the log, you'll see a little check mark next to it.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, what would we have done if it was like, okay, so in order to resolve this side quest, simply spring Strahd's, like...
Captured,
pet?
Yeah, individual.
Captured teenager. Like, I don't know if we would, like, well, we feel bad. We would have felt worse for not doing it immediately, but all's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well. They say as they walk towards Vallaki.
Right, yeah, Brothers is ready to hit the road.
A crowd pours out of the Blood of the Vine Tavern. Among the group, you recognize Ismark the Lesser, as well as Father Donovich, people that were previously named in this adventure, who you may or may not wish to talk to.
I mean, sure, we'll have a quick conversation. I don't know that we necessarily need to. Broldish has nothing specific to say.
With that jawline, I'll talk.
We wave nicely, and then move on.
Father Donovich smiles at you, and I guess probably makes the side of the Barovian cross in your direction.
Yes, Father Dumbleditch, we do
and
thank you for
that none of you ask about the young man that he was keeping locked up in his basement. Yep. Ismark the Lesser kind of he sees you and kind of makes his way through the crowd and says, is it true what they say that the devil is dead?
Broldish sort of like pushes Lena toward him because Lena's the one that's going to be laying down the law here, and this guy needs to listen now, and Broldish just tries to be as intimidating as possible.
Yes, these adventurers, they came to our land and they did not know our ways and they could not leave, but instead of perishing like so many others who fell to that fate, or so many of our kin, they rose to the occasion and they slew Strahd in his very own crypt.
But we couldn't have done it without Lena.
He was very pathetic.
He ran.
He kept running away. He he wasn't cool when he died. Make sure everyone knows that.
Let the bards say, let it echo through the lands. Yeah. He was not cool when he died.
There's murmuring from
and the crowd. The crowd takes up the chant. He was not cool when he died.
Wait, Elevor.
This is what you people want, right? This is it.
Yes. Sorry.
And Lena also shouts out Hala and Onatar as being, big
we're unsure
players.
who your weird foreign gods are, but they can't be that bad.
I will say
they helped.
You might notice, the more observant among you might notice that when Lena mentions Onatar, Crucible looks a little bit like thoughtful about it.
Oh, well.
No.
Yeah. Ismark kind of grabs you as the crowd continues to chant. He was not cool when he died.
Yes.
And just ask and what of my sister Irina? She is not with you.
Well,
she is with her one true love, who was not Strahd.
This
it's it is very sad, but she seemed at peace. She is beyond the grasp of that wretched vampire.
Ismark shakes your hand, Lena, and kind of walks away quietly. He does not join the chanting crowd, but he seems okay.
I'm sorry. As he walks away quietly, Elevor does scoot up there and says, are you just wanted, does your culture have the concept of a dance card, perchance?
Yes.
Wait, I'm
Wonderful,
referring
wonderful.
to the list
Wait, I
of
thought you
our-
guys had to leave for Valaki.
Oh, no.
there's dancing
I'll be
first.
picking up on this
I just
later.
want to be clear.
And
They're chanting. I don't know how you get a mob from chanting to dance party. That is
Elevor
like
can do it. I'm telling you, Tony.
You,
Pretty
you
easy,
left
actually.
your bards behind.
But he's not planning on doing it now. Elevor says,
Okay.
Tony, you need to
this
go to
is-
more protests because
this
it's
is for
actually way
later.
easier than you think.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And he slips. He assumed that they didn't have the concept of a dance card because I didn't think that they danced in Barovia. So
Wow.
Elevor had already taken the time to make a dance card for him, which he slips into his pocket. And the first name on it is Elevor. And then Elevor says, "I'll be back for that dance." And then
Ismark
walks with his
says,
group.
I look forward to learning your strange ways.
And then Elevor winks.
All right.
with 2 eyes.
No.
Some people can only wink that way, Dan. It's a serious condition. Is there anything else you would like to see or do in Little Barovia before our epilogue montage takes us to other points in Barovia?
Montage.
I'm showing the players
Montage.
the world map
Montage.
so they can go wherever they want.
Yes.
All right. I will point out there was no sign of Madame Eva in Little Barovia, or a sign of her wagon that was headed for points east. And so maybe you stay the night in Little Barovia, as there is they have a party. Perhaps Little Barovia, not known for their parties, is a little rusty. It's not the best party, but they're trying and they show potential. And you head out the next day, intent on getting to Valaki before nightfall if you can.
Where's the castle, the manor that had the dragon skull and all that stuff? Is that on the map somewhere?
That is Argynvostholt. Is that on the
Yeah.
map somewhere?
I don't see it.
It is north. Do you see that little castle that's north of Berez?
Yes. Here.
Over,
That is-
over there.
that is-
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like between here and Valaki, so that can be an after Valaki
Nope.
place to check.
Yeah, it's an
Perfect.
after Valaki place.
Valaki.
Lucky.
So you head toward Valaki. It seems like things are just easier going. You're making good pace. It turns out when you're when your heart is light, you can walk a little bit faster. That's just science. As you
Also,
head
when you have a
from-
pony.
as you head from little Barovia to Valaki, and maybe some horses are lent to you, to those of you without ponies. Horses,
Maybe a
That'd be
wagon.
nice.
or as some people
cart.
know them, big ponies. Yeah. About an hour outside of Valaki, you do pass. You can see it from the road, the old Svalich road that cuts across east to west across Barovia. You do pass. You have to pass the turnoff for Castle Ravenloft. I would suggest you don't need to go there right now. And as you get closer to Valaki, you can see not too far off the road is the old windmill, the bone grinder itself.
Just
which-
walk right by that.
Okay,
Mhm.
it does not look like it has improved in property value in any way whatsoever, even though presumably no hags currently.
I mean, we
occupy
wanted
it.
to burn it down, but then we were told it was stone and we couldn't burn it down. So
I tell you a
feel
lot of
like-
things that you guys do anyway, so
Well, I mean,
I
at some
appreciate-
point
I do.
in our go ahead.
I do have Tasha's caustic brew now.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I was thinking
could-
at some point we should either do something like pull that sucker down, or just hire a construction crew to just knock it down and send them out of our lucky.
Some contractors, yeah.
It's
Elevor,
actually
you don't
being
have some
renovated
like
into a
burn
bakery.
stone spell now.
Well, here's the thing: is that
Ooh.
what I
Level
thought?
10.
What I thought was, what is a symbol of victory in this? I think that
A
Elevor
dragon?
A
would
windmill
ask-
that's not full of hags.
Well, in that case,
Some
it
kind
already
of
exists.
on the coat of
windmill.
arms.
Like a well? Are you thinking of a well?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
Never
mind.
Micah, I think you hopefully learned an important lesson there about asking what sounded like a rhetorical question that none of us was capable of answering.
but we all tried.
Never mind.
We all tried.
I thought about stone shaping, but it's
If you stone shape out enough of the bottom, the sucker's coming down.
That's
what if
true.
it's really well built and it just lowers 1 foot?
But I almost like the
No,
idea
you
of
do
it
part of it, and
becoming
then it tips like a
it's
tree.
repurposed.
Oh,
It becomes an
okay.
actual windmill that actually,
Build a new windmill.
Yep.
Yeah. The new windmill.
This one's cursed. Start over.
Vet the strange 3 goth sisters that want to live there a little bit more carefully than the last 3. The location, it's it's not too close to the city. It's not too far from Ravenloft. It's great. Why do you want to live near Ravenloft? Don't ask. We don't have to answer that. That's a protected.
Elevor just calls on a good old friend.
Is it lightning?
Next to the windmill, you start to see these stones, and it's like they're rolling together, little tiny stones. They kind of start to roll together, and as they roll together, they're spinning around and kind of growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you hear this loud roar as this gigantic earth elemental rises up out of the ground, being
Just
called
another
forth,
roommate.
and begins to bash the windmill into its component parts, such that those stones can be used to rebuild
They're all personal.
non-cursed
It's like
windmill.
a Lego kit that's been disassembled carefully.
I love it.
They're
Because
all
of
stacked
course
up.
an earth elemental can do that.
Yeah, in fact, you hire a small wood elemental to construct some pallets to load the stones onto. This epilogue is going to take a long time if we carefully disassemble every monument of evil in Barovia, just to be clear.
We can
just
hire
the-
people for the
just
other
the
ones.
one
We
bag.
just-
Just the ones that wronged us.
All right. And several hours later, just before nightfall, you arrive in Vallaki. It seems like perhaps you're spending some time disassembling an old windmill has allowed other news to spread throughout Barovia, and word of Strahd's demise has reached Vallaki ahead of time. Go teens. People in Vallaki are in the streets. This is the first time they have had a festival that was not mandatory, and it's feelings are complicated. The burgermeister of Vallaki and his wife are up on kind of like a stage, and they're not prisoners, but they're not prisoners.
Yeah.
As it is unclear what their fate will be, given how much their rule was an extension of Strahd's presence here in the town of Vallaki, where they would always assure people that all would be well.
I feel like Brildish is going to bustle Lena up onto the stage, just right in front of them, and say, Barovians, one of your own would like to speak to you. She was instrumental in bringing down the devil.
She loves public speaking.
She's like, Brildish.
Yeah. Everyone clinks the glasses. Why are they holding glasses? I don't know.
Because there's wine now.
Yeah, there's
and
wine
then
now.
if Lena starts to falter at all during speaking, Brildish's charisma is pretty good. Yeah, 14. Yeah. So Brildish will just spit out a little yes man, sort of I'm your young man. I'm your pump up
in
guy.
D&D speaking, I think in D&D speeches, in public speaking, I think that if the person speaking is ever at a loss for words, your role is just to say whatever they just said, but louder.
Yes.
Let's see what that would sound like.
Yes.
People of Vallaki, I see that news has reached you that Strahd has been vanquished.
Strahd has been vanquished.
We are now free to determine our own fate.
Vallaki will determine its own fate.
We owe much to these outsiders who were trapped here, but they are true heroes of Vallaki and Little Barovia and Big Barovia.
Brildish points at the rest of us and says, "We're heroes because we helped Lena."
And also we had help from the Vistani, and we had help from Vasilka.
Let's hear it for Vistani. Let's hear it for Vasilka.
Vasilka, still here. Totally not forgotten about.
Vasilka, who I think is wearing the wedding dress.
Wedding dress.
That we stole.
That she has now fought in and trekked through back and forth across most of
And you know what?
Barovia.
It looks
Covered in chainmail.
It looks great.
Yep.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. She looks
Mending
really cool.
will do a lot.
It's way
you know?
better than it was to start with in that stupid house of theirs.
The work, there is still much work ahead of us.
Work ahead of us. No, wait, sorry.
But enjoy the party as you were.
Aragal rolls into Vallaki with a it's not obviously not Bucephalus, R.I.P. Bucephalus, but it's clearly some of Strahd's backup horses, which are jet black, and he's got a wagon, and on the wagon is several casks of wine that Strahd was hiding away somewhere, and sacks of money, and Aragal just says, "It's me, money for everyone," and starts throwing coins.
Yes.
Aragal helped us too.
Yeah. Wow.
Weird.
Party time.
He looks so good in that picture. He looks
So much
good.
better looking than
He
I ever
does, yeah.
picture him.
Lingering on the edge of the crowd is, of course, some familiar faces. You see, he is not exactly invited to the party, but Henrik van der Voot was the coffin maker of Vallaki, who unfortunately his workshop was
Full
a
of
bit of a
vampires.
vampire nest, full of vampires. Slightly more in the crowd, giving out toys to little kids is of course Blinsky, accompanied by a monkey.
Piccolo! It's Piccolo!
And kind of further back on the edge of the crowd, perhaps his certainty in Vallaki a little bit unknown, given his service to the Valakovich family, is one Izek Strozny, bodyguard, enforcer, bribe collector, tax collector,
Owner of
monster arm
Hand.
haver, monster arm owner operator,
Sibling of
Does he have a warranty on
Arena
it?
Cole,
I
yeah.
didn't ever.
Yeah. Things are obviously a little uncertain here in the town of Vallaki, a much bigger settlement than Little Barovia. There were effectively basically some Strahd collaborators among this group, but also many that are happy to be out of the sphere of the von Zarovich influence one way or another.
What about that other family, the ones that had the book club? Are they hanging
yes.
out? Are they going to make a power move? I'm
The Wachter family, Lady Fiona Wachter is among the crowd and just looks like she has won the lottery and sure would love to be the next mayor of Vallaki, as she planned to be before.
Which is so funny because she was probably laying the seeds and pulling the strings, all of this. Meanwhile, this dum-dum comes riding in on a team of jet black horses and is just handing out money to everyone.
I think we have Mayor Aragal in our future.
It's a classic old money, new money political fight.
This money is very
Vote
new.
for Aragal.
I imagine that he also has a chest of books.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His
They're all
novels.
YA romances.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh man, he's on the side.
Lot of manga.
Tony, who here would be the highest level Strahd collaborator that we would be aware of?
Well, that would be the
Burgermeister.
Yeah, the Burgermeister himself.
Elevor is going to look for the Burgermeister.
He's kind of up on a stage, kind of he's not in chains or tied up, but he and his wife are, they are a captive audience to the celebration.
I imagine they're wearing ugly jester hats, covered in tomatoes.
Some light hazing,
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think. So then, if they seem kind of dethroned, I am curious though, because we talked about power vacuums. Maybe who was second in line to do that? Would it be book club people?
Yeah, that would be the Wachter family. Did not have Strahd's favor, but was scheming, and there were the kind of harmless bros you met in the
that's right.
in the tavern. Look at you making me rehash things that we did years ago.
Yeah, Brildish arm wrestled both of them at the same time.
Yeah, harmless bros. But then their scheming mother.
So Elevor's going to lean to Brildish and say, I need your help with something, if you wouldn't mind. We need to do something
Elevor, anything.
We need to do something a little sneaky. I need for you to help me get the, what was it, Walvok?
Walter?
The Wachter family sort of near the stage, because I have something I'm going to say to the Velakovich family, and I want them to hear.
Oh, that's easy.
Too.
Brildish trumps off, and I'm sure the bros are like over there with their mom. Like, bros!
Nice. Brildish! We never thought we'd see you again. You killed Strahd. That's awesome!
Come here. Yeah, like I give him hugs. Come here. Yeah. Bring your mom. And just basically drags him over. Remember Elevor?
maybe you tell them to walk through this way.
Hello there.
Mom, these were the guys we were telling you about. They're great. Did you hear? It's them. They're the ones who took out Strahd.
As they
she wouldn't let us join her book club.
The mom is just like, we've met.
Yes, we have. As they kind of gather around, Elevor walks towards the Velakovich family while Brildish is kind of helping to corral them as well. And as Elevor walks, he lifts up his hood and he activates, primal savagery, such that his teeth grow very long.
You're going to give them rabies. That'll teach them.
And start to kind of drip in acid. And he uses druid craft to put the smell of sulfur into the air. And he gets very serious for a moment and says to the Velakovich family with the Walmarts listening, and he says, "You probably wondered how Strahd was always able to know when people were scheming against him. When we destroyed Strahd von Zarovich, we were given the power to keep an eye on all of Barovia. If you step even an inch out of line, we will know about it, and we will come for you." And he lets a little drop of acid fall onto the guy's lap, and it kind of burns through his clothing.
Brildish believes every word. She just thinks it's something that she didn't cotton onto at first. So she's just nodding very seriously, like they should believe it.
The burgermeister, I don't know if he's still burgermeister, the former burgermeister of Vallaki, turns to his wife and says, "I've always wanted to visit Baldur's Gate."
Wait, you even heard of Baldur's Gate? Well, yes, we played Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
We did it in co-op. It was a nice way to spend time.
They have PlayStations here, Dan. It's not.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm checking the list of things that don't exist in Barovia. You're right, PlayStation not on that
Xboxes.
list?
They don't have Xboxes.
Our
it's very sad.
necromancer son helped us replace our video cards on our PC so we could get it running.
They are.
You would not
super
believe
overclocked.
how hard it was to get NVIDIA cards these days.
Yeah.
Hey, we never did have to light a candle in the window of the inn to signal the teen kid to leave. We can just talk to him, unless he's up in his attic, and then we're not going to bother. But he's at the party.
He is not joining the party. I know
he's not. He's not a party nerd. He's an attic nerd. To be clear.
Yeah.
I also like the idea that a lot of the things that didn't exist in Barovia, now the floodgates have opened and there's just air horns everywhere as you walk down the street.
Their culture is going to be destroyed by you people.
Oh, yeah.
Just to refresh people's memories, things that didn't exist in Barovia. Clocks. There's clocks everywhere.
Unfortunate.
Beer.
Oh, yeah. All Argyle is handing out watches left and right.
Beer. Ants.
Ants. Oh, no. There's ants in the beer. It's awful.
Chads.
All ants.
I think it was unclear as to whether it was people named Chad or hanging Chads. Public libraries. Great news. There's public libraries now. Orcs. Yeah. Not so good news. You take the bad with the good.
Guys, I think you should have looked at this list a lot more closely before you took all these actions.
Good gays. I think we've already done that one around.
Yeah.
Bards.
Yeah.
Bards.
Yeah. Circuses. Targets. There's only Walmarts, but now there are Targets.
Yeah.
Yay.
Warranties.
That's not their name.
Oh, but now the one guy with the monster arm has a warranty. So
It's great. Air horns. Oceans. I have some questions about that one. Clean socks. Great news. Elections. We're seeing those coming back. Sterilization. Self-care.
Oh yeah.
We said
will teach a
more
few classes.
souls. I don't really know what
More souls or more? Do you
more.
mean more
M-O-R.
souls?
Souls.
Or
There aren't enough
souls,
souls.
like SOULS.
No, SOULS. More souls.
Yeah, they were short on souls.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
not enough
more
souls.
souls like chocolate chips.
Not more souls, no. But probably also more souls.
Also, probably didn't have those either, though.
Yeah.
Semicolons. That is going to blow some people's minds.
Wow. That is going to team well with the new libraries they're opening.
Therapists. Also, business is booming for the therapists,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna move in.
And strawberries, except for berries that taste like straw. So there are now strawberries that taste like strawberries. And
There's a
snozberries
lot
that
of
taste like
confusion where
snozberries.
people think that it's like it has something to do with Strahd's reemergence, and so it's really hard for the strawberry sellers, the strawmongers as they're known.
The strawberry
Strawmongers?
sellers.
I love
Oh
it.
no.
Yeah.
Confusing.
So, all
Anyways,
right.
good news.
This is, guys, we've been to like 1.5 of the towns in this whole map. The last time I'll declare this speed round.
Oh my god.
Blinsky, full name Gadolf Blinsky, is of course here at the party. He's dressed as a jester, as he often is. He's got his monkey Piccolo with him. He's handing out toys to all the children. He seems like he's just having a grand old time. And he grabs one of you and kind of shakes you and just says, "I never thought I lived to see this day. Is wonderful time."
It is.
It
fun.
is.
It's fun.
Yes.
Is fun is Blinsky.
Yay!
Cheers.
And then
And
we'll
he
probably
strolls off into the night.
we'll probably retire to the inn and check in with the Mardukov family.
All right. The Mardukov family is doing brisk business at the inn as people are having a variety of beverages to go. The Mardukov family, of course, owns and operates the Blue Water Inn. Husband, wife, and then 2 sons, I believe. There is the whole issue where you may have an outstanding financial obligation with them vis-a-vis a certain window that got blown out with a certain.
Nope, they said they were going to cover that because it shouldn't have happened on their watch.
Of
It's
course,
recorded. I listened to
Erica
it twice.
Remembers it.
Yep.
Erica has the receipts, and
Yep.
so you are begrudgingly welcomed back into the Blue Water Inn, but there is no offer made of a room. Simply plenty of food and drink.
Are you
I thought they
saying
were
we're
really
going to have
happy
to
about
stay
us.
in the manger?
I
Because
thought
we
they were-
restored the flow of wine.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
saved
come
their
on.
family.
Yeah,
also-
very well.
they turn into birds.
Yep.
Wait! Don't just be putting that out on Maine.
She just tweeted it out.
Well, if you'd have given us a
Zing,
room, we
If
wouldn't have had
somebody
to say
tells
it.
you that you're aware, Raven, you don't tell everybody else. That's rude. And so you're given the smallest room available, where one Rudolph von Richten used to stay.
Okay,
This is a
fair.
You
This is
sleep
not-
poorly because the party continues to go all night.
I mean, that's fair.
because Valachians know how to party. This is the first time they have partied in a non-compulsory manner,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got a lot to work off.
In that night, Argal does not try to break in and murder us because he is busy being carried around on everybody's shoulders.
Hooray for me, says Argal.
For like good old time's sake, does he like still trying to break into our room? But he's
He
like,
does not.
"Hey!"
Yeah.
He's I've grown past that, says Argal. So
nice.
all
I
right.
think first thing in the morning, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but Brildish would absolutely want to go to Argynvostholt and just make sure that the ghosts are no longer there or something, because that was a big
All
deal.
right.
Yep.
You awaken the next day. It is the kind of the second day of a new era in Barovia. You head south from Valaki toward Argynvostholt, the kind of ruined stronghold that was once home to an order of knights who, let's just say it, pretty anti-Strahd. The ruins of Berez are off in the distance in the kind of swampy lowlands further south of you, and there is still kind of a glowing beacon in the sky where you kind of lit the signal of Argynvostholt. But there is the ruins that were before seemingly haunted by a dragon as well as his followers is just quiet now. It's just the sound of birds and
I think Elevor would take a minute with Broldish to admire that because that was something that I think we both were very much driven to complete, and I would want to have a moment, like a hand or arm over your shoulder, just like looking at it and seeing what we were able to do.
Yep. The old coffin with Crucible's name on it is just sitting there in the front yard.
Crucible
unused.
Crucible looks thoughtful of that too, and he's actually going to take that with him.
I was going to say, if we had phones, you would have to take a photo in front of it, like pointing at it. That would be so amazing.
I mean, we have a wagon, right? Because they gave us horses and wagons in...
I guess you could bring an empty coffin with you.
Does it have a machine gun in it?
I think Crucible and Emma are going to have a conversation about, like... I was going to take an axe to that, so...
I think perhaps it is...
I want to keep it.
Worthy of consideration. I hate to see fine craftsmanship go to waste.
No, it's your coffin. Okay.
Some places that are not far from Argynvostholt, at least by Barovia Sanders. There's Berez to the south and Rictavio's tower to the north.
We're not going to Berez. That place is terrible.
That place is awful.
There was nobody there to visit except for some goats.
Well, you did kill, Baba Lasagna, as Micah would say. So, see how it feels when I use those words against you.
It's pretty good.
I love it. I bask in it.
A great joke.
Well, then nothing works out my way. And so you head north, leaving the main Svalich road, looking for the old tower where you met Rictavio, the strange traveler who was more than the simple retired circus ringmaster he pretended to be, for he was in fact Rudolf von Richten, the legendary vampire hunter. And as you arrive at Rictavio's tower, in fact, Rictavio is there. He is packing up his wagon outside, and he looks at you all and says, "I heard the good word. Esmeralda was here just yesterday. Very exciting that you are not all dead. And of course, even more exciting, I guess, that Strahd is dead, though I would have been sad. I don't think I would like to choose which one I would prefer more. I'm glad that things are the way they are, and I am glad that they are not another way, my friends."
Hi, Rictavio.
Hi. Oh, yes, that is how I should have started.
Hi, hello, friend. I wanted to thank you for... when you make a good friend, when you have a bonding moment, it can be hard to let that friend go off and do other things and, grow. And Samus and I have spent a lot of time together, and I appreciate your willingness to part with someone who matters so much to you. And now that we've succeeded in defeating Strahd, I mean, obviously, you would feel the same way, that it's entirely up to Samus, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to, you sort of stand over there, I sort of stand over here. We both call for Samus. We see which way Samus goes, kind of a thing. Or
you are too kind. Samus, would you like that? Would you like? We're going to go on a grand trip, but of course, if you prefer to journey with them, perhaps our paths will cross another time. What say you, good girl? What does Samus do, Micah?
That is a good question, Tony.
Oh, I thought you had a whole plan here. I was ready to.
Rictavio opens the door to his wagon and kind of like taps on the top step, looking at Samus, looking at Elevor.
I think for a second, Micah forgot that Samus isn't real.
did maybe have a moment.
Mission
there.
accomplished.
Samus, yeah, this is some next level acting, everybody.
Listeners, I want to be clear. All of these events are fictional.
Samus yawns, and sort of you see her big old tusks, and she kind of yawns, and she looks over at Elevor, and she goes over and she brushes herself up against him, and like you all can almost feel the vibration of the purring. And Elevor kind of realizes, she's saying, I'm a little tired. We've been on quite an adventure. And Elevor just kind of pets her and says, thank you so much for your help. And I do hope we'll see each other again in the future. And
friends,
Samus,
I am sure we are simply parting ways for now. For so long, I have been trapped here in Barovia, and I yearn to get back to the larger world, and I hope that we cross paths, if not once, if many times ahead.
And Samus tromps over and hops into the back of the carriage.
Rictavio closes the door to the wagon and looks at you, winks, and says, I just opened some tuna. You never had a chance.
Delightful. Where are you going now, Rictavio?
Oh, here and there. I have not decided yet because I'm not sure what's north of here. The geography of Barovia is so unknown to us, but I'd love to go somewhere less like this, my friends.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, good luck.
Fare thee well.
Bye, friend.
Bye.
You can have anything I left behind. And and the horses stampede off as he makes a quick exit.
It's always slightly awkward with Rictavio, at least in Elevor's mind, because it's like we one-upped him. And I think that's really like he's literally a vampire hunter, and he never hunted the vampire successfully. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, there's a little bit of strained.
There's a flurl of a cloak of invisibility, and Esmeralda Davenir is kind of standing there leaning against the tower, and and just kind of looks at you all, gives you kind of a half scowl, and says, "Yeah, he's always like that."
Oliver rolls his eyes, and it's just kind of
there's
like,
a flurl of a cloak of invisibility, and she's gone.
Is that her only trick?
But that is probably can still hear you.
Never has a character gone from a 10 to a 4 so fast.
Right.
Yes.
So tired of her.
I mean, she was there, to save your lives if needed. Possibly for one of you to play if a player character died.
Yeah.
And when you have robbed her of all of the reasons for her to exist, she's just kind of a snooty, unaccomplished vampire hunter.
I think Lena gets it. Lena totally
game recognized game.
Yeah, Lena gets it. It's like, if we died, you could finish off Strahd. If one of us turned into a vampire, you could finish off us. Like she
It's honestly, Elverse, it's the cloak furling that's really getting to me.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But that is the personality that Lena would have if she hadn't met all of you.
Snap.
Wait,
And
I'm
if
sorry,
you had
your
a cloak of invisibility.
I was saying that personality is cloak.
Yeah, cloak.
Yes, Cloak, absolutely.
Dan, Cloak is a very powerful personality. Have you met Lando?
It's a fair point.
I think that when you met Lena, she had one bullet point. Well, two.
It said
One was
cloak.
traumatized, and the second one was Cloak.
Jane, I think there's an email somewhere from you that's like giant scar, traumatized, Cloak.
Character creator Scar.
Yep. So,
Cloak.
world building.
Yes.
All right. From here, there's not really that much left of Barovia as you've headed to the western side of the. It's not really. I don't know. Is it still Barovia? If there's no Strahd, maybe it'll have a new name. There is, of course, the Wizards of Wine Winery to the south. Yesterhill, the where you fought the druids.
We are not going to Yesterhill.
There are some matters that need to be.
The hill will take forever.
There's
Tony.
the Abbey.
How
Do we want to swing back to the
isn't.
Abbey and see if
it's very
Vasilka
steep.
wants to return there, or if what she wants to get up to now?
Yep.
And Vasilka looks at the Rictavio's tower, kind of like shakes the side of it and says, good bones.
Oh,
Wait, she
can talk? This whole time?
yes, because the spell of Strahd had on her a spell of silence and ineptitude. No, not ineptitude. A spell of silence and dissolution has crumpled into dust, and now she can speak. Right, Tony?
Yes.
Wow. That's awesome. I love it.
But just those two words.
Creepy as hell. It's like she eats a bowl of soup and she's like, good bones.
Maybe she would just no, obviously, Dan, it's context sensitive. She would just say, good.
Oh, okay.
Or bones.
And if a skeleton walked past, she would say, bones.
Right.
And in this situation, it's appropriate to use both words.
Or if she's watching that show
Leonard
with
McCoy strolls past, bones.
Bones. Yeah.
Or good bones.
Well,
True.
yeah.
Only if it's
upon the
Carl
day.
Urban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if she's
Let's
watching
not-
that
let's
show
not
with
start that.
Emily Deschanel, Bones.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So do
Speed
we want to
round.
go to the Abbey?
Speed round. Abby.
It seems like that your flesh golem friend wouldn't mind setting up shop here. Nice little tower, a little bit away from the hustle and bustle. Recently vacated.
It's got an elevator.
It's in a bit of a werewolf neighborhood. But
I think she can take care of herself.
We'll never know what's going to happen with them because you turned down that quest.
Not true.
No, we freed that werewolf guy from the basement, and we told him that he had to go and make everybody chill with us because we were going to go kill
Had
Strahd.
to make everyone chill,
And he had 2
that
weeks.
is how it works. You can
2
just
weeks.
delegate quests to random people that you find.
Well,
in
we
a
said he had 2
basement.
weeks to report back to us, or there would be trouble. So we better
Oh,
we better
you're gonna
see
write him
him
up?
somewhere on the
You
road.
really threw that guy to the wolves. All right.
Oh,
The next
Thank God there's air
day,
horns now.
the next day, you roll into Kresk. Krez, the tiny little settlement far to the west, kind of the furthest from Strahd's influence, but also not exactly a bustling little settlement. It's a small town. Notable things, most of the people there are woodcutters, and of course there is the Abbey up on the hill above Kresk.
I feel like we'll
notable
spread
things
the
that happen
word
in
as we walk through. Just like Strahd's dead. Strahd's dead. We did it. We told you we would, and we did. And then we're up to the Abbey.
I feel like the people in Krez are they're a little more world weary, and so they're just, they nod their heads. But they did also see you take a woman to a lake, and then she disappeared. So, there's a complicated mythology.
We should leave before
about-
that warrant
I
out on
think
us.
that she saw
about you that has not been filled in.
But didn't a ray of sunshine part the clouds, and then the sun god came and gave her a little kiss on the cheek?
Probably should have left a memo explaining what that meant, though.
We wanted to know.
We dealt a lot of radiant damage.
Yeah. Up in the Abbey, you approach the Abbey. There are clearly still the
mutants.
The family that makes up the Bellevues are much of the inhabitants of the Abbey. They're still there. You can hear their kind of chattering cacophony of animal noises from the distance. And the abbot is out in the yard with his Bellevue assistants, doing stuff, preparing meals for them. He looks surprised to see you all.
Hello.
We're back.
We have returned. Strahd has been vanquished.
I did not think I would see the day, but I sensed that things were different here in Barovia.
Vasilka survived as well. She was very strong and brave and has taken up residence in a tower. So she's doing well, too.
Thank you for watching over her.
In many ways, she watched over us.
You beat me to a chain.
And tell me, travelers, where will you head next?
The winery. Brildis is very literal.
I don't know if I shared this with you before, but I have been here for some time, and I think I will continue my work here. The Bellevue family still needs me, even if things here in Barovia are different than they once were. my work continues.
Remind me, are you're sort of you're responsible for the clever creations that exist here, or you're helping in another way? I'm not just going to be like, or you're undoing these horrible experiments.
He is taking care of them. The Bellevue family was cursed.
As far as we remember, he wasn't like making them horrible.
No,
right?
he wasn't making
No.
them.
That's all
He was
I
just
cared
caring
about.
for them.
I don't
Okay.
know if he was providing the highest quality care for them, but
He was like feeding them and keeping them
yeah,
chained.
he's taking care of the Bellevues.
I did want to thank you for your assistance during our adventure, or during our journey to Castle Ravenloft. In fact, your hero's feast came in handy, and we do appreciate what that provided for us. You should rest assured that although you weren't able to be there in person to help us defeat this great evil, you, in no small part, assisted in making a difference here in this land. And I hope that you will remember that and use it as a bit of energy from within to help you continue to care for the people here who very much need you.
I thank you for your kind words and for looking out for Vasilka. Though the creation of her was not work I would have preferred to do, I am glad that she has found a different path, one beyond what Strahd intended.
Here, here.
Take care, friends.
You too.
And you.
And I hope that you continue to practice your dance moves. Bye.
And so you leave the insane asylum where the Bellevue animal hybrids are all cooped up. What a weird place to end your tour, Barovia.
No, we're going to the winery. Brildish needs to make sure that they got that seed that she sent via Raven.
All right. Last stop? Question
Last
mark?
stop.
Speed round. You make your way to the Wizards of Wine winery.
She literally
but,
just wants to say, just a yes or no is good. That's fine.
Okay. The Wizards of Wine winery is still clearly not up and running yet, but it looks like there is a lot of construction that is happening to repair things from the attack by all the horrible plant monsters led by druids. And there is a large billboard out front that says, yes, we can now make 2 kinds of wine. Thanks for that seed, Raven.
Yay.
It's possible that as Strahd's influence drains from the land of Barovia, so too does the finely crafted Gothic edifice that I have been maintaining for so many episodes.
But
Yeah,
the
we're going
literacy rate
cottage
here
core
must be
now.
good.
That's the new
Cottage core. Woo!
Oh yeah. Woo! Yep.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of nice old ladies out front knitting.
Cable knitted sweaters everywhere.
Woohoo.
Yep. They say, yep, we heard the good news. They nod. There's a tween vaping over on the edge of the clearing who nods back.
Hell yeah.
It's blueberry crumble vape.
Yeah.
Still keeping within cottage
We hit
core.
the dab.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Later that night, you all gather around the campfire, camping out, thinking about all the things you've done here in Barovia, the changes that you've made, and the positive influence you've had on an entire land, an adventure not like any that has befallen you before. And now you know a Barovia, a place for so long that you were trapped with just completely sealed off from the rest of the world, unable to return to the places that you might call home for those of you who were not born and raised here. And it kind of raises the question, what will you do now?
Well, I mean, the first thing I think is that Brildish says to everybody, as I have mentioned to you probably many times on our travels, one of the traditions of my clan before they were wiped out by orcs was that after Hela's blood maidens got back from a series of battles, a successful campaign, we would have a meal such as this around the campfire, and we would give each other gifts to show our gratitude for the deeds done. And I wanted to continue that tradition and grant each of you a gift in the same way that my clan would have to me. So I want to start with Lena, who became a friend that I never expected to meet in a very strange land. And I had a little help as we passed through Vallaki, and I was able to acquire this from the Vistani, and she brings out this basket and pulls, like, there's a red and white checkered cloth over the top of it, and she pulls it off, and it's strawberries. It's real strawberries.
Aww.
And there's enough for everybody to share, but she hands them to Lena, and Lena, I told you once that they tasted like sunshine and happiness, and I want you to know what that is like. So she hands it to Lena and has something else in her other hand and is just like waiting expectantly for Lena to taste a strawberry.
Lena is like unbelievably solemn. And she goes and she takes one and she looks at it, curiously, and then she takes a bite. And you can see a lot of the energy is going to her keeping a stoic face. And she's like, it's good.
good bones.
These are these are good. Do you just have these? I was gonna ask if everybody wanted to stay and help rebuild Barovia. No pressure or anything, but these are great. Is everything like this?
Maybe not everything, but a lot of things. But because they're edible and like they will be gone soon, I also got Crucible to help me make you this. And she hands Lena a little push dagger that's like, little push daggers are sort of shaped like a strawberry, and it's like it's got a strawberry motif and like etchings and stuff on it. So you can always think of the sunshine and happiness that exists in worlds other than this.
Push daggers are so cool.
It's very sharp.
From you, that means a lot. And she gives Broldish a big hug.
Oh,
yay!
But like even behind it, she's like eating another strawberry.
I love that.
Fair. And then she turns to Imra and says, "Imra, you two have been just a true friend, and you have always been there. And I don't know where we are going to go next or what is going to happen. So I commissioned some more help as we went through Vallaki, and I talked to our friend Blinsky, and I had him make these." And she pulls out these little dolls, and there's a little doll of Broldish with her axe and the other axe on her back, and Pony. They're like sort of tied together at the ankle so that they stay together. And then another little doll of Imra and Androdite. And Imra has the axe that she took from Broldish, so Imra has an axe. And so she hands the Broldish one over and says, "So you can have this and I can have this, and we will always be together."
Aw. Thank you, Broldish.
And the dolls they're still kind of creepy, but Broldish doesn't think so.
I put it in my bag next to the other creepy doll. From,
You have a whole creepy doll bag.
Before I'm getting a collection.
I mean, you picked up that one in the very first Death House adventure, so
yep.
I was like, yep,
right next to that one.
And then Broldish comes over to Crucible and says, "Crucible, you may already know what these are, and I realize that you can't eat it, so this is a symbolic gesture because it's not made out of ball bearings." But she hands an apple and says, "Where I come from, it is customary to give an apple to one's teacher." And I actually have a favor to ask. I was hoping that you could teach me a little bit about the powers of the Forge and the greatness of Onatar, because I feel that the ability to reshape Hela's sacred axe into a better form would help me serve her even more. And then Broldish wants to take a low level of cleric.
That is most kind of you, and I
multi-classing as a tribute.
I am quite gratified that I have been able to help you in any small way. I must confess, I find myself at a bit of a crossroads as well. For Onatar, for all of their virtues, seems to value elements of impartiality and neutrality that I could not square with the things happening here in Barovia, which is why I felt at a crucial moment that perhaps there is another way. And I am not sure where my path takes me either. But if you are... I myself find myself inspired by your example of your devotion to Hala and to Hala's powers of good and bringing justice to lands such as Barovia. So I find myself, and he casts a glance at that coffin that he's brought with him. I do not mean to be, I believe the word is morbid, but there is something of this identity of myself that I feel as though I must interrogate further, for I worry that I have been blind in my devotions, and they have led me down a path that encourages perhaps too much acceptance of things as the way they are, rather than belief in our power that we can change them.
Perhaps we could travel together for a while, and I could teach you about Hala, and you could teach me about Onatar, and in our teachings of each other, we can interrogate our own current premises and grow together.
I think I would find that most interesting. We shall see if that is where our paths take us.
But I do have one more gift to bestow before we move on. And she turns, and there's this great big wooden crate, and she just picks it up. And she lifts it.
Very long, kind of rectangular dealie, right? Yep. How long have you been carrying this, Breldish?
It's been on the wagon since we were in Vallaki.
Yep.
But
no one has questioned it.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that wagon. Yep. People keep giving us things.
Yep. So it's smaller than a coffin, that's for sure.
It is. And she sits it down in front of Elevor, and she lifts the top off, and inside you see a unicorn tapestry. The unicorn tapestry.
Elevor actually makes the sound that I just made as he starts to dance around looking at this tapestry. He picks it up out of the crate and he twirls it around in the air, and he's just going
Never has a man that doesn't even have a wall been so excited to have a tapestry.
And he just looks at it, and he looks at you, and he looks at it, and he looks at you, and he gets these tears in his eyes.
Somewhere in the woods, Argal winks.
And
Argal helped.
Oh, that's sweet. He kneels down and holds out his arms for a big hug, and he says, I feel seen. And he goes in for a hug.
I will always see you, my friend, no matter where I am.
Except when I'm underneath this tapestry.
Just want to be clear, the tapestry does not have any magic properties.
Nope, it's an invisibility unicorn tapestry.
Can you see
you are
him?
Invisible if you're under it, but the tapestry is not.
Lena's just eating strawberries.
Man, I've been waiting for that for a while. I came up with that idea so long ago. I was like, I shoveled Strahd bucks off of the basement underwater. I was like, I gotta use these for something.
I love it. Elevor's been complaining about Elevor and Micah have been complaining about not having that tapestry for so long.
I mean, and me and Brildish, so it just seemed appropriate.
And the lesson is, if Micah complains about something long enough, he will be given it.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, well. System works.
I think Elevor's is relatively quick. After probably taking the tapestry and if it's a covered wagon, he's probably going to kind of hang it on the side of the wagon to add some art to their campground. And so it's sort of in the background behind him. And I think from time to time, he just glances back at it and kind of shakes his head, yes. And then he looks back. But he says to all of you, many of you are probably aware that elves are long-lived, and I, as a half-elf, am still relatively long-lived. And in my young life, which for some of you is even up to the point of middle age, I experienced a great tragedy. And I spent a lot of time after that in isolation, trying to understand who I was and where my place was in this world. And when I came across all of you, I had just begun to learn how to bring back my joy, to become connected to the world again, and to tap into that part of myself that experiences things as if they are new. Being long-lived, it can be difficult to do that. And we've been through so much darkness, but each and every one of you has encouraged moments of light. And each and every one of you I consider to be beacons of light. You resonate this brightness that my soul responds to. And in concert, we resonate with one another and make this world brighter. And although we were trapped in this dark place, surrounded by mists, there were times where I've never felt so free to be me, free to trust, and free to feel like I would be supported, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Each and every one of you matter so much to me, and I am so grateful for the time that we've spent together. And you should know that one good thing about having someone in your life who's so long-lived is that when you've made a friend of them, they will be there for you until the very end. And I want each and every one of you to know that you can always call on me if you are ever in need. And he passes each of you from his pouch a small glimmering stone. And I didn't clear this with Tony, so hopefully Tony will allow it, because otherwise it's going to ruin the moment. So Tony surely doesn't want to ruin the moment.
Wow, no pressure.
A magicked stone that is essentially kind of like a sending stone. And
is it just a sending stone?
It's just a sending stone.
Is there a reason it wouldn't be just a sending stone?
I just wasn't sure if sending stones last forever, so I just
this one does.
This is a friendship sending stone.
A friendship sending stone.
Sending stone. It's powered. It's also, and like you get a special deal when you buy 5 of them at once.
And it's powered by magic.
Stone?
The magic of friendship. A friending stone. And so he gives each of you a friending stone because that's a great name for it. And he says, should you ever need me, you will always be able to count on me so long as I live. And no matter what form I'm in, because you all will always know that when I change shapes, it doesn't hurt. And I appreciate that.
Hurrah!
And he just kind of sits back.
After that, Imra just like shoves little wooden figurines at all of you because she's been whittling by the fire.
Nice.
And they're just like little androdites that she gives. And she doesn't say anything because, like, who can say anything after that? So whatever, she just like here. And she sits down again.
Roller's just so touched.
They're not good. She hasn't been whittling for long, but
I love that.
It might still be better than the Blinsky one.
Roll woodworking.
Roldish is just petting it.
And Crucible has been inspired by his friend's gifts, and he is produces a coin for each of you, and you recognize what was a Strahd book, but he has reforged with a picture of all of us. Everybody, from Lena to Imra, Bruldish, Crucible, Elevor, Samus, Danu, Vasilka, Aragol, the entire crew, Androdite, Pony, everybody who helped take down Strahd and was part of that is a commemoration. It's like a medal you can wear.
That's so cool.
Coin.
Defacing currency is a serious.
Not when you're in charge.
Whispers to each of you, collect them all.
Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
Tony, I have one more thing I want to do before, perhaps after everybody else goes to bed by the campfire. Crucible, obviously not sleeping.
Creepy.
I want to use a level 10 feature.
Actually,
right before we go to sleep, Berldish says, "Oh, and Pony says you're all right."
That's like the best thing. we could
And-
possibly
and
do.
Feywild?
Pony kind of
No,
shrugs.
he's here. I brought him back
Check.
immediately.
Oh,
And at some point, I am sure, sort of overwhelmed and uncomfortable by the outpouring of earnest, lovely affection. Lena, sitting next to Imra, leans over and asks, are these safe for dogs? Because she would really like to give Androdite a strawberry.
I think so.
Yeah, I think they are. I think
in
you can give
Barovia,
them-
yes, they're totally
In
safe.
Barovia.
Fantasy strawberries are safe.
Yeah, it's actually a great source of vitamin C for dogs.
Perfect.
Tony, at level 10, a cleric, as an action, can request his deity's aid, their deity's aid.
That's me.
Yeah.
Roll a percentile dice. If your roll is equal to or less than your cleric levels.
Who are you calling? You calling Onatar? You want
Yeah,
Bahamut?
I am calling
What do you
Onatar.
got? You know?
If your roll is equal or less to, in this case, 10,
Torm's available.
your deity intervenes. So
Is it
we'll
gonna happen?
Crucible will step away from the fire a bit, and he's going to see if he can summon Onatar. We'll see what happens, because I'm going to roll that now.
Is Imra watching this? Is Imra meditating at this point, or is she watching?
That's up to Imra.
Yeah.
So Onatar stands under the stars of
Crucible?
This is an
Barovia,
honest, Dan, is this an honest roll or is this a? Is this,
I did.
is
I
this-
just rolled it. I did just roll
All
it.
right.
And looks up at the stars and seems to, maybe be like a little bit like asking a question without actually asking a question. Stands there for a while. There is no response.
Oh.
He takes the broken. He broke his Yickelwise
Right.
spear in half to stake
Yeah.
Strahd. He takes the coffin that he has and he puts the spear in it, along with perhaps his robes of the god, and he buries
Oh my
them.
god.
Oh.
Fade to
Yeah,
black.
that was it. Yeah, if anyone woke up while Onatar is burying a coffin in the middle of the
Crucible.
night,
Onatar. I
sorry,
know,
Crucible, just pretend that you didn't see anything and go back to sleep.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they weren't. They
Spooky.
certainly weren't digging their own grave. That would be.
Yeah,
that would be weird.
That would be weird. Also, he can't really. Anyways, he's got some issues with this god. He's gonna take those up with him. Maybe
Yeah.
they're gonna have a word. They're gonna have a word with
Oh.
Onatar.
Am I on the hook for this?
No, that's fine. That's just I'm leaving
I
that.
don't have an Onatar
the
voice.
threads out there.
Onatar voice. Is it okay if Onatar sounds like a goblin? Possibly.
Onatar
from-
didn't respond.
a-
I didn't
Boston
roll.
suburb?
I rolled
Um,
a 78. So I guess his Crucible's questions fell on deaf ears, or perhaps Onatar chose not to respond.
Mm.
We'll never know.
Well, I think it's time that we wrap things up as this adventure comes to an end. All that's left for me to do is to thank each and every player for joining us. Jane Ritt, thank you for being here.
Thank you for running a wonderful adventure.
Dan Morin, I can't get rid of you.
That's true. I'm not unlike a revenant in that way. Tony, thank you very much for running a fantastic adventure. I really enjoyed it and look forward to wherever our adventures take us next.
Aline Sims, a pleasure as always.
The last few years have been terrible in a lot of ways,
You're welcome.
but it was always a joy being able to get together with all of you. So thank you all. Tony, thank you for running this.
Erica Ensign, you kept us on track, which is like an incalculable amount of work.
Oh, I can calculate it.
Oh no, so many billable hours. Thank you for being here, Erica.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for running the whole thing, and thank you for catering to my whim to do this last epilogue episode, which I really wanted some falling action and some closure, as emotional closure after all of these years. I feel like we earned it, and you made it happen. So thank you. Thank you all for doing it.
And last but not least, Micah Sargent, thank you for being here and for being you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. Thank each and every one of you. I have really enjoyed this, and it's hard to believe that, like, right after I packed up and moved to California, I agreed to do this, and it has been an absolute immense pleasure. And again, our lovely, wonderful listeners, it's part of why we do this at the very least. And so we do appreciate you for being there and sharing your stories about, tuning in and having a laugh or two. So thanks, everybody.
And listeners, thank you for listening. Tune in next week for something completely different.
Before we go, can we get one last Tuesday night?
Tuesday night!
If you want a shirt that says
I do.
Tuesday night, you can go to Hello Nerds Nut Shop and buy a shirt that says Tuesday night. That is my promise to you.
I'm glad that we
will.
capped it off with some filthy commerce.
Yep, there we go. Once
Yes.
once you got all the feelings out, it's all just capitalism at the bottom.
Strahd bucks not accepted.
The Incomparable Podcast Network. Become a member and support this show today. theincomparable.com/members